recipes to share.
Sorry.
And the first one I'm setting off with is called the easy marshmallows. So marshmallows are something that everyone probably ate as a kid. You would normally buy them, like it's something that you would often buy. So it's really exciting to be able to show you how to do that easily in the Thermomix. So as I said, the name of the recipe is easy marshmallows. So if you have your Cookidoo available, jump on that, type in just the word easy and see how many recipes come up with that title. So you might be pleased to see some nice easy recipes. So the marshmallows I'm making tonight have some very simple ingredients and very cheap ingredients as well. So we're going to talk about saving money. So we've just got, it's not a health food, that's for sure, but it is a special treat. We've got some white sugar, we've got some gelatin powder, some vanilla, and some cream of tartar. So that's it, guys, and some water. So it's very, very simple. And I started the first 5 minutes of the recipe. Right. And I pop them all in, and the first 5 minutes cooks for 100 degrees. And now I'm taking it to the next step, and it's asking me to keep the simmering basket on, and it's bringing it down to 98 degrees. So I just wanted to show you that. Hi, April, how lovely to see you. I just wanted to show you that 98 is the degree on the setting on your Thermomix for simmering. So if you have a traditional recipe that tells you to simmer a recipe, then 98 degrees just below boil is where you want to pop your recipe. So 10 minutes now on 98 degrees, on speed 2.5, and that's the second step of my recipe tonight. So very, very simple. And a great recipe, as I said, for cheap, exciting, fun treat, and something that you might even consider using as a fundraiser. So when I think of this is the sort of thing that I might be able to make for the school fete, or, you know, the church fete, or just some sort of school kids party, something like that. I know I used to make these a lot when my kids were little, because they couldn't have any additives or preservatives. So I could make this treat and know exactly what was in it and have it fail safe for my kids that needed to eat that way. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this tonight. I'm going to come back to you in about 10 minutes, and we're going to talk about the next step. Over to you. Over to you,
Vicky.
Sorry, Vicky. Over to you, Vicky.
Hi, everybody. Sorry about my technical difficulties that I've been experiencing, but I think I'm good to go now. Just turning on my machine because it turned off in that time. My name's Vicky Jones, and I'm based in Wollongong, as Claire said. I've been oh, did you spotlight somebody? I don't know.
I have just spotlighted Vicky.
Okay. So I'm going to be doing the steamed, they're supposed to be raspberry puddings, but I'm always one for using what's in season. So that's the best way to save some money, is to use the produce that's actually in season. So we're going to start with some strawberry steamed puddings, because strawberries are really cheap at the moment. So I whipped up some strawberry jam earlier. So that's what I've got here. You've also, you can use any sort of fruit, like I said, whatever's in season. Raspberries, I reckon it'll be all right with blueberries as well. And I'll just bring up my recipe. So it's steamed raspberry jam puddings. Now, we're going to skip through a couple of steps, because what I've actually done is prepared my jam into the containers here. I've put them into individual ones so that they steam a little bit faster, so that it doesn't take as long as what the full one would. So we're going to skip through the steps of greasing, because I'm using the silicone. I won't need to do that. And I put the jam in. I've got my paper over there already cut out. I put the butterfly in. I had 120 of unsalted butter, 120 of white sugar, done 2 mixes with that, so a minute each. And now I'm at the stage where we remove the butterfly whisk. So you'll see that I've got some nice creamed butter and sugar there. And yes, these moulds are available in the mix shop. The round one fits in the bottom. And you've got a bigger one that fits in the top of the Verona as well. So we're up to the remove that step. So remove the butterfly, and now I'm just going to pop in an egg. We're going to mix that one by one. So just 20 seconds around to speed 4. And I'll just fill up the rest of this strawberry jam for the bottom of these containers, the bottom of the pot. So there's a number of different types of recipes that you can follow using steamed pudding. It's a great way to use your Verona. If you're not familiar with your Verona, we do have a Verona cooking class coming up down at Ulladulla shortly. So you might want to get onto that if you're not used to using it. Okay, so now we're just going to scrape down the side with the spatula. And we're going to add our second egg. Pop the lid back on again. Another 20 seconds. Now, in terms of some of the different puddings you can do, there's a really great one, a lemon steamed pudding. And that's with a citrus syrup. So they're just lemon cupcakes. They're not actually called puddings, but they're very similar. I've also done the sticky date puddings and the sticky toffee puddings. And I always do them in individual sizes because I find that it cooks faster and it's great to be able to serve individually instead of the large one. Now I'm just going to throw in 120 grams of plain flour. And my 30 grams of milk. My teaspoon of baking powder. And a teaspoon of natural vanilla extract. So we're going to pop our lid back on again. These are really super quick to make. 20 seconds, speed 3. Away we go. And I've got my water ready to go to steam them as well. Now, the thing about the jam too, there's a heap of recipes on Cookidoo that you can use to make your own jam. A lot of them actually call for frozen fruit, so you don't need to use fruit that's in season. But as I said, strawberries are cheap at the moment and they look absolutely amazing. So I thought I'll give the strawberry jam a whirl. Okay, so we've got our mixture. We're just going to give it a quick stir. Okay, so there it is there. And what I'm going to do now is, it says to transfer the batter to a pudding basin, but what I'll do is I'll work my way through, pop the batter in, about 1/2 to 3/4, I reckon, is all we're going to need. And then we're going to put the water in there, which is 1,000 grams, I think. Oh no, we've got to cover with our circles. So I'll work my way through these. Do you want to move on, Claire? And I can show you the steaming. I'll continue on and people will be able to see me as I go.
Yeah, beautiful.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Vicky.
Hello, everyone. I'm making a true blue Aussie dish. It's called Tuna mornay. And I'm brave enough to say that this is my first time doing it. And because I'm obviously not true blue Aussie yet, I need to learn to swim first. So I have prepared all my things. And the beauty of this recipe is that I actually halved the recipe because tonight I don't have as many people to cook for. So I have halved the recipe, and I'm going to try to just start as I go. I have preheated the oven, and I'm going to show you an amazing thing. If all of you are the owners, you all have a Thermomix thermoserver bowl. So I'm going to actually cook pasta in it right now. So I have my pasta that I've halved. I'm just going to place the pasta in here and add some boiling water. And I'll put, yes.
I was going to say, I don't know if everyone does have a Thermomix server. And Oxy, how do you get a Thermomix server if you don't have one?
Well, that is secret information and costs $5. No, not really. So you can have a Thermomix server by hosting a demo. It's another thing for you to learn more about your Thermomix, or by becoming a Thermomix consultant, because it's included in the business kit, which is half price right now. So all of you, if all of you have the Thermomix on the bench, have a think about the side hustles that you can have. So my pasta isn't here. It's boiling hot water here. I'm going to put it aside, and I'm going to continue to read my instructions. So I have prepared cheese and parsley in here. By the way, parsley is from my vegetable garden. It's a great option to grow your own herbs. And when you grow them, just 1 second, I'm talking too much and not concentrating.
We've been talking a lot about how to save money. And so we're, Kay mentioned at the beginning that we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. We're actually doing a reduce the cost of living demo, and we're rolling that out in our demos, and we're helping our customers and people who don't have Thermomixes how to save money. And herbs is one of the big ones. So, if you know anyone down the street, your neighbors, even just, planting something small like parsley, for instance, in your garden, that's a big money saver, isn't it, Oxy?
Yes, that's right. Claire, would you like to show the Cookidoo, please, so people can see what happens when you halve the recipe? Because the recipe that I'm using is I have halved it. So I'm going to let Kay talk instead of me, because by the time I gather my thoughts, the class will be over. Kay, may I have your help, please?
Absolutely. So what Claire's got up here is the recipe as it stands in Cookidoo. And if you just see down in the right-hand corner, you've got 6 portions, and that's the standard recipe that's on the Cookidoo. But with the new scaling program that we have on Cookidoo, you can open that up and make it your own. So you can choose at this point how many portions you would like to make in this recipe, and press start. And you'll see up the top there that you've got 3 serves, 6 serves, 7, 8, and 9. So if you're only cooking for 1 or 2 people, you might like to choose the 3. And when you choose that, what you'll see happen is that it's reduced the ingredients down by the correct proportion. And then that's all ready for you to go. So once you have chosen the size of the recipe that you would like to cook, what you actually need to do is save it. So what you're actually doing is you're making a clone of a Cookidoo recipe. So you're taking a Cookidoo recipe and you're making it your own. So as you can see, Claire is saving it there and changing the title to Tuna Mornay serving for 3. And she's going to save that by pressing done. Now, of course, she could go into other parts of the recipe and change other things, add more spices, add more of this, add corn, or take out the mushroom, or whatever you don't like about the recipe or you'd like to add to the recipe. So this is a really good way for you to get to know how to create your own recipes on the Cookidoo, but also take the bones of a recipe from Cookidoo and make it the right size for you, but also change some of the ingredients as well. So now Claire has saved that as a serving for 3 Tuna Mornay. And over here, what you're going to see is that that recipe is now saved in your created recipes folder. Under my recipes, you've got your bookmark, you've got your folders that you make, and then you've got your created recipes. So, and then of course you've got your cookbooks as well. So there's 4 different areas in the Cookidoo that you can save different recipes. So under created recipes, you've got 100 spots to create your own recipes from the Cookidoo, cloning it and changing it. Creating your own from scratch right from the beginning, so transferring grandma's recipe into a Thermomix recipe, having it on your screen, but also creating dragging recipes over from the recipe community and saving them into creative recipes. So that's your little little tutorial on how to use that portion of Cookidoo. Hope that was helpful.
Thank you so much, Kay. That was awesome, very articulate. My next step, what I would like to mention, that from the created recipe, the look on the screen is not exactly the same, but that's okay. It's engaging your brain, building new pathways, right? So that's what just happened to me. The next step is panko breadcrumbs. Now, I had to Google it and have a look in the dictionary what it means. The other thing, what I don't like buying things that I'm not going to use in my Thermomix. So I decided I'm not going, if I buy those panko breadcrumbs, I'm not going to, may not use them for any other things. So I have, sometimes the children not all finish the bread, the sourdough. So I just dry it. You can dry it in your oven. And here what I have the my own sourdough breadcrumbs. I did add a little bit of salt and I did add a little bit of pepper. So I'm going, look at this, look at the beautiful colors. This is cheese with my own parsley. And the next one, we're going to add onion, garlic, and butter and saute it for 3 minutes. Так, here we are. And then, while it's sauteing, I would like to, that's a wrong button, I apologize. But let me have a look. Oh, no, that's correct. See, it's interesting because I'm so used to the screen that I usually have. And because it's a created recipe, I'm like, oh my God, what is this? But it's all right. It's all per screen. So 4 seconds to go. So my garlic and onion are finely chopped. Thank you. And I'm just going to cook it now for 6 minutes. Add flour and milk, which is already here. Так, add milk. Now the other good saving tip, buying your flour in bulk. So I have big containers like this, and I have already 10, this is 5 kilo container, and I have the second container. So when I bake a lot, I save a lot for lunches for my children. I have 3 hungry children and a husband. Sometimes he is like a child. He's not here to hear it, but that's all right. So I'm doing my losing it, but that's okay. It's all right. We're keeping it real, right? Yep, I'm starting that. And the other thing I wanted to show you, I didn't want to go to the shops to go and buy canned corn. I have a lot of frozen corn in the freezer. So I just cooked it in the Thermomix. And then cream corn, the same. I went and had a look, cream corn Thermomix, I found it. And I was like, wow, that's sensational. I didn't have to leave the house to purchase these basic ingredients. And I'm really happy with myself, I must say. Yeah, so I'm going to continue cook for 6 minutes. Claire, so who is next?
So I think Kay's going to talk through the cooling down process for her recipe before she takes the next step. Is that correct, Kay?
Yes, I can do that. So we've cooked that, it's down into a syrup now, and it says to cool the mixture to 60 degrees. So it tells you to take the lid off, which I've done, and cool it to 60 degrees. And it suggests that could be 15 minutes. So a great thing to do now at this point is to take your timer. So I want to make sure everyone knows that they've got a timer on their machine. And I can put the timer on for 15 minutes and come back then. And so that's really good because that is just a really good reminder, you know, because I always get distracted by something shiny. So it's always good to have that as a backup. But what it actually says here in the recipe is that it's important for this recipe to get it to 60 degrees. And I'll show you how to do that in just a moment, because what it says is that if you have it too cold, you won't get the right result, and if you have it too hot, you won't get the right result. So it's important to use the precise temperature control in your Thermomix and do the next step at 60 degrees. So the way to find out what the temperature or current temperature of your bowl is to push your recipe to the back. So you're just pressing the home button. So I'm back on the home page. I'm putting my bowl back onto the cradle and allowing it to take the temperature of the bowl. And the temperature here is the little one at the top there, and it currently says 75 degrees. So what I'll be doing is I'll just be keeping an eye on that until it reaches 60 degrees, and then I'll be doing the next step with my butterfly. So I'll come back to you then.
Excellent. Thank you, Kay. Now, Vicky, you go.
Can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to step you through what I've just done. So I pre-cut some little bits of paper, just circles to fit over the top of the individual puddings. It stops the steam from getting into them. So I've now popped them in there, put the water in, didn't need to wash the bowl, which is one of my favourite lines in a recipe, without washing the bowl. Pop the water in, and now we're steaming away. Each of them have got one of these over the top of them to protect them. And that's it from me. Thank you, Claire.
Amazing. All right. So I think it's up. Am I up, or Roxy, are you nearly ready to go?
I have 1 more minute for my sauce to go. And
Okay.
I just wanted to mention how amazing my bechamel sauce, my white sauce, is in Thermomix. And Vicky has an amazing story about it. Vicky, would you like to share it with us, please?
Well, I was one of those people that learnt to make bechamel at high school in home science. So it had to be very precise. You had to melt your butter, cook off the flour so that it bubbled away, it broke up the flour so it didn't go lumpy, with all the things that I was told when I was a kid. And then when I got my Thermomix, and it's just a matter of throwing it all into the bowl, I was absolutely blown away. And I'm sure that my home science teacher would be turning in a grave now if she knew that I was making bechamel not the way that I was taught in high school. So that's one of my favourite things to make in the Thermi is sauces, and particularly the bechamel.
Perfect. Claire, I'll hand it back to you.
Although yours is probably nearly ready, yeah?
It is. Would you like me to continue?
Yeah, you continue.
All right. So I'm going to show you this. The sauce is amazing. It smells amazing. Even my dog is trying to get to the kitchen, and my children, and I'm like, no, you're not coming. So here we are. It smells really, really good now. The garlic is just incredible. So I'm going to follow the rest of the recipe and add my half portion tuna. Now, this is a recipe I make and invite my Aussie neighbors. So I'm going to add my corn kernels. Here we are. And my beautiful creamed corn that I made in Thermomix. Took only 7 minutes. Here we are. And then I'm going to mix everything. We're going to put salt and pepper, which I already have. I put a lot of paprika because I love paprika. And transfer to bowl with the cheese. Okay, that's it. We're almost there. I'm going to mix it for 5 seconds. Give it a good mix on the reverse. In the sauce, it's going to be amazing. While that's doing it, I'll go and prepare my pasta. What I do is, because I have only a small amount of pasta, instead of getting a giant colander, I just use this steaming basket as a colander. I'm not showing you my dirty sink. That's why I'm hiding over here. So it's all here. I'm going to place it in a beautiful. Now, pasta is al dente. This is how good this thermoserver is, right? This is amazing. Now, for all the people who have Thermomix service, if you want another one for Christmas or something like that, book a demo with your consultant. Now, look, this is so hot. It's ready to eat. I've added all my things in, and I'm going back in. Backwards in. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. This doesn't look very appetizing yet, but I'm going to cover it as a pasta, and it's going to be amazing. And then I'll pop it in the oven, and voila, we're going to eat it soon, very soon, my children, right? So I'll just what all the consultants that are online, if you could man the chat and answer the questions, that'll be amazing. That'll be really amazing. So if you have any questions about anything, just let us know. We are here to help you with your Thermomixes.
Is anyone needing to jump in? Like as in Kay, is yours ready or do you want me to start?
No, I'm still at 70 degrees, so off you go.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm just changing my view so you guys can see what I'm doing, because you don't need to see me, but you do need to see this. Now, I'm not using the Thermomix because I've already done my Thermomix bit. I made this pastry. This is the, hang on, I might just turn that for you guys. A bit better. I made this, it's the gluten-free rough puff pastry that I've shared in the chat. You can use any puff pastry recipe from Cookidoo. Because I like to eat gluten-free, I like to make this one. What I would say if you're making this one is you do need to mix it for a little bit longer. So the recipe never works when I follow it. You use frozen butter, and once you do the kneading part, you just mix it for longer till it becomes, till it binds together. You want to make sure you've got quite a floured surface, so I just use arrowroot. And you break it into 3 bits. So obviously they come from the fridge. And then what we want to do is we just want to roll it out into a square. So these is what I'm making. So I'm about to show you how to make the vol au vents. All right, so you just roll it out into a bit more flour on top. And the thickness will change how your vol au vents come out. So when I made this the first time, a couple of us did them a little bit too thick. And so I find that, you know, not too thick, probably how you would normally roll out pastry for a pie or a tart. And this is one of my favorite rolling pins, the French rolling pin, kind of tapers out at the edges, which means that you don't squash the edges thinner than the middle. It's amazing. And it will roll perfect circles if you're doing tortillas and things like that. All right. Now you do need to have 2 rings, and they need to be one big and one small. So you've got to be able to have one that fits into the middle. And so first up, we just make a series of bases. So I'm just going to put those over here, a little series of bases. It says to do about 20 bases and then 40 extra circles, which are going to be the rings. So I'll just do a few of those. Okay, so I've got those ones. You do 20, you'd line your tray with them. Just move that for a sec. Okay, do a bit of an egg wash. So this is just an egg and a little bit of water. I found with just the egg white, it was just a little bit too thick and I couldn't spread it onto the pastry base. I'm just going to egg wash all of those. Oops, that one flipped over. Try not to make them too soft, and you want the pastry to be a little bit firm. That's why it says to keep it in the fridge until ready to use. Okay, so I've brushed those down. Now, let's say I had 20 of those lining my tray. I would then start my next batch. So that would be one of the 3 parts. So then I make my way around, just making the next 40. So you want to do 60 all up. Okay, so how many have I got there? 5. Here we go, there's a few. All right, now the second and third batches, so 40 of them need to have a hole in the middle. And so you just make a little hole. Now that one, what I've done is I just bake them, so they're quite nice just to eat on their own, or you can put them on top of the vol au vent when it's done. And I'll show you that in a moment. Okay, so you just want to cut out holes on all of those. Try to get them in the middle, otherwise your vol au vents will be a little bit crooked. Okay, so I've got my ring of dough, looks like that. And that one just sits on top of each of those. So one layer onto each of those. Can you guys see that well enough? Yep, excellent. Here we go. And the egg wash is going to help that stick. So my next step is then to just, so yes, a little tiny bit time consuming, but they can be made in advance. So if you're having, you know, friends over or you're doing some entertaining, you can actually just make the casings. Don't cook them yet. You can freeze them uncooked. And then when you get them out, you just put them in the oven, frozen. So, all right, now we do one more layer. Okay, so I'm just going to do 5 more circles, 5 more holes in the middle. And then I lay them again, so stack them on top. If you want a super high vol au vent, you could probably do 3 layers. The recipe only calls for 2. It's much easier to pick it up as you do it. Don't try it how I've done it. And of course, if you're really neat, they look even better. But I have found I'm not the neatest cook, but mine looked okay when I cooked them. Okay, so then you just brush them with another egg wash. So you do those. So you brush them again, and then you bake them in an oven, 18 minutes for 180 degrees. And then they come out looking like this. So that's, you can sort of see it puffs up, got the layers, and it looks like that. Then the next step, so I made the filling as well. That was you make that in advance and then you cool it down because you don't want it to be hot. So that's got mushrooms, it's got chicken, it's got a little bit of stock paste, and a bit of onion and garlic. So you I think garlic, maybe not garlic. Can't remember now. Smells good. And so, yeah, you just put a little bit of that inside each of the casings. And so you probably don't want to have too much because I found it, when I made these the first time, it did sort of spill over. So you just fill those. If you really don't want any to spill over, then you're going to put a really small amount in. But I don't like to have leftovers, and there is going to be leftovers. So that's what you do. And then you bake them at a hotter oven for about 10 minutes. And that's your vol au vents. And they're amazing. They're super, super tasty. So any questions?
As always, I have Claire a question. What if you don't eat mushrooms? What could you do? Substitute it with?
Look, you could probably just omit them altogether. Now, actually, the one thing that I did the very first time I made them was I it says to steam the mushrooms, and every person who walked in the kitchen was like, Mum, that's disgusting. I can't believe that stinks so badly. And I was like, oh my God, they're not going to eat these because they can smell them. Anyway, so this time I just kept the mushrooms in the bowl, mixed it up with the onions, sauteed it, and it didn't have that gross mushroom smell in the house, and I reckon the kids will probably be more likely to eat it. But yeah, you could just totally omit the mushrooms, not put them in, and I mean, it wouldn't have as much flavor, or just add a different flavor that you've got that you love. You know, add some herbs. Yeah. Corn. Yep, amazing. And there are a couple of other recipe combos on Cookidoo as well. So there might be 1 or 2, but I mean, if you just Google vol au vent flavors, you know, you've got the recipe, you know how to do it in your Thermomix. Doesn't matter what you put inside them. Yeah.
We have a question in the chat.
They look fantastic, Claire.
Thank you.
Can I just jump in because my timer's just gone off and my temperature has hit 60 degrees. Hooray! So I'm going to, next step is put my butterfly on. So I'll just put that on there. And if anyone doesn't know how to put their butterfly on, make sure you let us know or let your consultant know to show you. And then, of course, then the next step, insert the measuring cup in there. And 10 minutes on speed 4, and I'm really looking forward to, hopefully I'll have enough time to show you what that result looks like. It's very impressive. Oh, off I go. Thanks.
Where are you up to, Vicky? How are yours looking?
Mine are actually looking pretty close to being cooked. I thought because I did the steamed individual puddings, I actually found another recipe for this as individual puddings in one of the UK cookbooks, and that suggested a 40-minute cook time. But I'm just looking at them now, and I think they might be pretty close to being ready. So that's been about 20 minutes or so. So I'm just going to have a quick look at them.
And when they were in the pudding thing in this recipe, it's like 55, it says about 50 minutes, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, you do 2 lots, you see, because it's a large pudding thing. You actually have to add additional water to it during the cook. But looking at these look like they're ready. Can you see that?
Yes. Do you want to try and cut one for us and show us what it's like inside?
Yeah, they're very soft. Where's my knife?
I like the use of baking paper so the steam doesn't get in. I'll probably put the whole sheet.
Yep, that's perfect. So I'll just take off the papers.
Yummy. I haven't had dinner yet. I'm so hungry.
Well, you might be like me, we're having dessert instead of dinner.
Why
Okay, and I'm just going to take it out and put a plate, and we'll serve a whole lot of them together.
not? Another hack.
And whilst I was making the puddings, I also managed, oh, look at those. Okay, that one's not quite cooked. That one needed to go a bit longer. But I also made some custard. So this dish would be really, really nice to serve with custard over the top of those puddings. If I can find a spoon, I will do that. So I'd suggest they probably need about 30 minutes. A little bit longer.
Little bit soft in the middle.
Yeah, just a little bit, but I mean, you can see they're sort of holding their shape and bouncy, a little bit bouncy there. So there we go. That's our plate of puddings, our strawberry puddings with custard. So nice, simple dish, cheap to make, easy to whip up. You don't have to stand in the kitchen waiting for it to cook. Put it on, walk away, come back, and it's done. So thank you.
Thanks, Vicky. Yeah, steam puddings are so handy, especially in summer when you don't want to heat up your oven. There's just a question about the sizing in the chat. So does anyone recall, if you've got 2.0, you can't do scaling up to created recipes, can you?
You can't scale up, did you say?
Up or down if you've got Cookidoo 2.0, is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if any of you guys have Cookidoo 2.0, not 3.0. So Cookidoo 3.0 is the $69 a year. That one gives you access to created recipes, which enables you to do the scaling up or down. So yeah, maybe just something to look at.
Yeah, consultants get it for free, by the way. So this is my second year I get my Cookidoo for free. Perks of being a consultant.
Yeah, and look, if anyone here has thought about it before, I know there's a few people who have been consultants in the room, and lots of consultants in the room with us as well, because we love to learn from each other. It is a pretty cool business, and you don't have to do it all of the time. You know, people come in and they choose their own hours. Like I do Thermomix full time, but I started about 11 years ago, and I had little kids at home, and it was something for me to do when I had young children. And I was like, I don't want to go get a job somewhere else. I really love the flexibility of being able to work from home, you know, be there for my kids when they need me. I love choosing how I operate my business. And it's just, yeah, it's really special. So we're really passionate about being able to gift that to others, that opportunity. And so if you're just a little bit curious, come along to one of our info sessions. We did talk about the half price business kit. So you get amazing stuff. You get a thermo server, you get a thermo mat, So you saw me working on my Thermomix mat. You get this apron. Yes, maybe not the one that says Oxy on it. She lovingly created that one herself. And you get a travel bag for your Thermomix, which is valued at $120 on its own. And literally it's $75 for $400 worth of stuff. So if all you do is come in, learn a lot about your Thermomix, get all these amazing things, it's kind of worth it. So yeah, definitely talk to us, talk to your consultant. We do obligation-free info sessions, so you're welcome to jump in. And if you don't have a Thermomix or you're looking to get a TM6, we actually have a low deposit earn option. So I started the business on earn. That was the only reason I joined. It was also the only way I could get a Thermomix at the time. And so you can actually get, if anyone here is looking at earning a sparkling black because they've already got a white, that's an option too, as long as we've got them in stock. And if anyone here has, just give us a little wave or a hands up or something in the chat if you've got a TM5. I think there's a few of you guys in the room, because we do have a TM5 trade up coming, and the trade up offer is you get $300 off your TM6 and you get a free bowl blade and lid set. Now, I know it's not what you paid for your TM5. Some of you have had your TM5 for close to 8-9 years now, I think. 10 years, maybe close to 9 years. Yeah. And whilst they're still an incredible product, and they always will be, sometimes there's just a few features in the 6 that give you a little bit more freedom, especially what are some of your favorite modes on the TM6? Oxy, what's your favorite mode?
I like the wash. That's what I've just done.
The pre-clean?
The pre-clean, yes.
Yeah, and look, the 5 can do a pre-clean. It's just not quite as comprehensive. So you have that feature.
Boiled eggs. All our family can be a bit high maintenance in the morning with the moodiness. So they all have their eggs, especially on a Saturday or a Sunday, at a different temperature.
Yeah, amazing. Did she steal yours, Kay? Were you going to say egg boiler?
No, I was going to say the high heat, but there's a lot of sound in the background, so I was muted.
Yep, so Dorothy loves the high heat as well. It is pretty cool being able to do that. And if you guys have access to Cookidoo, you can actually get collections where you just do basics in high heat. So you don't have to go into whole recipes to try and access that. Yeah, Vicky, what's your favorite? I don't know if she can still hear us. No, she's just like flashing us, curious to become a consultant. Rice cooker, Jessica. Yes, that is an excellent one. If not everyone has success with rice cooker, so I recommend you try some recipes on Cookidoo first before you go straight into the mode on its own. Greg wants to try making yogurt with fermentation mode. We've done that. It's pretty awesome, and you can use the little jars or you can use your thermoserver, as long as it's the 2.2 litre one, which is the white thermoserver that you can get when you host a demo as well. And yeah, that just sits overnight, 8 to 12 hours. The other one that I love is the thickening mode. Now, I'm a little bit like Vicky when it came to, doing bechamel sauce. I'm like, oh no, you've got to cook the roux before you add all the other stuff. You got to, I was trained how to do it traditionally. And I was like, well, there's a reason you do it that way. And the Thermomix doesn't do that. Anyway, let go of that long time ago. But gravy, I was like, no, you got to do it on the stove. You got to, do the roux with the fat and the flour. And then my sister came over. She's also a consultant. And she goes, what are you doing? Why don't you just throw it all in the Thermomix and press and go thickening mode? I'm like, well, I don't know how long to do it for, and I don't know what to put in. She goes, you just throw it in and turn the dial and it does it for you. I'm like, really? This is me who's been a consultant for a long time. And I was like, oh my God, I'm just going to use thicken mode every time I want to thicken something up. So yeah, you learn so much when you cook with each other, which I think is really important. And that's why we love you guys coming to these things, because we learn from each other, we share recipes, and there's never too much to learn. Kay's been a consultant is it 10 years yet? Over 10 years? Kay's been a consultant for a long time, and I guarantee she's probably still learning.
Yeah, 10 and a half. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And I know I'm still learning as well. There you go. I learned about thicken mode the other day. And so it does sort of expedite your learning. But if you're not interested in the business side of things, definitely host demos. Like, you will learn stuff there, and come along to our cooking classes. So Oxy mentioned one in, or is it Vicky, in Corrimal? So that's the Masterclass 101. We've also got one in Canberra coming up next Wednesday night. So it's an Eat Well class. We're going to focus on gluten-free, predominantly dairy-free cooking. So that one's sort of like a healthy focused class. Those tickets are all accessible via our link tree, which one of our amazing consultants, Kirsty or Lisa, will share in the chat with you. And where else? We've got a Varoma class down in Ulladulla in October. If you've got anybody who's interested in seeing the Thermomix and they, a bit hesitant, we've got a couple of open houses. So one in Nowra and one in Canberra on the weekend of the 14th, 15th of October. You'll all be out there doing some sort of vote. So you may as well jump into one of our open houses and check out what we're doing on that weekend as well. Is that it? Is there any other events that we've got on other than virtual? We've got virtual ones as well. Cookidoo workshops, that sort of thing. So question about when does Trade Up start? It kicks off. Ladies, what date does it start?
10th of October.
10th of October.
Excellent. 10th of October. And new accessories. Well, quite possible. I'm not sure what we're allowed to say. I'm sure we're allowed to share. Are we allowed to share if anything's coming? You know what, when consultants know stuff, generally it's free for all. So there is a sensor attachment coming, and that's where it tests the temperature within all of your foods in the oven and links into your Thermomix. So it's coming early next year. Get excited for that. We'll be getting our hands on those as consultants towards the end of this year. And just in case you're wondering, the cutter will be available next year. Unfortunately, we won't have any stock this year. Really sorry, deeply apologetic that you won't have them in time for Christmas. We would deeply love you to have them. We just don't have access to them.
The sensor would have been really good for the puddings, Claire.
Yes, it would have. It would have basically shown Vicky on her Thermomix screen what the temperature inside the puddings was and whether they were ready to come out.
Wow, that's the first I've heard of that one. Can I just show you this beautiful fluffed up marshmallow goop there sitting in the bowl? So now I'm just going to pour that out into my prepared tray. So I've just got some baking paper. Oops, probably shouldn't have done that.
That's right. We can have marshmallow and
someone gets to lick the bowl, and and there you go. So it just asks you to sit it aside for 5 to 6 hours or overnight. So good one to get it done ahead of time. And obviously you get all that out, guys, and you can flick the blades clear of any extra food there at the bottom, so we're not wasting anything by just running it for a few seconds. And then of course we can put on our pre-clean like Boxy mentioned, and get it nice and clean. So I'll just quickly show you how that blade's now clear of any marshmallow, and we're saving everything out of the bowl instead of it going down the sink. Right, next step is remove the butterfly whisk and then set aside uncovered on the bench for a minimum of 4 to 5 hours, preferably overnight. And then it says see tips. So if you want to read the tips and you're in the middle of a recipe, go to the home page, go to the top of the recipe, 3 dots there, recipe detail, and slide down. And it says, leaving the marshmallows to set overnight, uncovered overnight, allows the moisture to evaporate, and this develops a bounciness and makes it easier to cut. It also says that marshmallows can be rolled in roasted, shredded coconut and crushed nuts, which sounds nice. And I'll just show you the end result from the batch that I made a few days ago, just so you can have an idea of what it looks like. So there is a bit of an odd thing that happened. I cut some and they turned out just fine. And then some of them ended up looking like that, which was very odd. Sort of a little bit exploded, but not all of them. So some of them are still in lovely squares, and some of them are super kooky looking. So I reckon you could cover those with chocolate and no one will ever know, or pop them into a rocky road or something like that, or just cover them in sprinkles. No one's going to care, are they? So anyway, there's your marshmallows. That lot will be ready tomorrow, and I hope you've really enjoyed tonight.
Thank you, Kay. There was just one question. So April has asked, do you need to do a wash before? April, do you have to wash the bowl thoroughly like you do with egg whites? Or, yeah, just wanted to clarify what that question was. And guys,
and if that's the question, the answer is no, because you're not dealing with egg whites. It's just the gelatin.
I also have a quick poll with 3 questions. We'd love you guys to fill in. Just gives us a little bit of a indicator whether you'd like some follow-up after tonight. So please type in, first one is, I'm interested in hosting a demo. And of course, if you've got a consultant, we'll know that. And so we will be able to hook you up with them. You would have put that in the registration. If you're interested in purchasing or upgrading to a TM6, then also let us know in question 2. And if you're interested in finding out more about our business opportunity, please just, put in there yes. Doesn't mean you have to sign up now, just gives you an opportunity to find out what it's all about. It disappeared. Who stopped the poll? Relaunch. There you go. We've got there you go.
That was me. I apologize. I thought it was my screen.
You're right. I was like, there's 4 hosts here. I'm guarantee it's someone.
The good thing, Australia is democracy, and I won't go to jail like in Kazakhstan.
Liz has asked a question. Can you toast the marshmallows on a campfire, Kay? I actually don't know the answer to that question. I don't know if Kay's tried yet either.
Hey, you're on mute.
Look, I don't know if you can. I don't think they have the same makeup as a commercial one, because I think they would have that glossiness. You know, when you toast a marshmallow and you take off the top layer and then you toast it again, it's got that glossiness. I reckon that's probably sort of how it might end up. But Liz, why don't you make them for us? Have a little tester, toast on your campfire and tell us what it's like. And if anyone wants sort of a healthier marshmallow, quirky cooking, so Jo Whitten makes a healthy marshmallow, which I've made a few times, and it's delicious. So still high in sugar content, but not sugar, it's honey, if that makes a difference. So thank you guys for filling in that poll. We will be in touch, or your consultant will be in touch with you if there's anything else. But yeah, anything, let us know. I'll send you a wrap-up email tomorrow with the recording of tonight, links to the recipes, the items that we had from the mix shop, and you can have an opportunity to respond to me if you've got extra questions. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks.
The tuna mornay is ready.
Oh, quick, Oxy.
It's good. It smells amazing. It smells amazing.
It actually doesn't look too bad.
No, why too bad? You don't like it?
No, well, I actually have never tried tuna mornay.
I thought it was a very Australian dish.
I think it is. Yeah.
It smells amazing. If you are gluten-free, you could have gluten-free breadcrumbs and gluten-free pasta. But yeah, I love it. And this is a half. Like if you're going to go to a party, I think you can. My son is going to have it tomorrow for lunch. No democracy here.
I think 3 portions is a good size. And Vicky, you've got yours. You tried it? Looks awesome. Awesome. Can't unmute.
Yeah, there we are. Yeah, I just cut it open so you can see inside. It's perfectly cooked. It's nice and light. As I said, I've served it with a little bit of custard. So yeah, simple,
Amazing.
easy, cheap and quick.
Awesome. And look, I didn't end up cooking. I've still got a whole lot to make right now, but I could send them through the screen. I would. Go and make them yourself. They are pretty delicious. And like I said, freeze the casings.
I just wanted to add that this class is online class every second Wednesday. We are here for you, and next one is going to be low GI and low carb to prepare us for spring. And I think it's quite relevant. We'll see how we go. It's going to be amazing.
It is always. Thanks, everyone. See you.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Lovely to see you.
Thank you.